everybody's using where you give a score. Just hire people who have at least a 700. And they go, okay, whatever you say. Starting now, require all employees to have it so we can track their scores, and it's going to make it easier and safer and give us recourse for termination without HR lawsuits, like workplace lawsuits. And then you're going to be 18 or 17 or 16, whatever. You're going to go to McDonald's. You're going to say, I want to apply for a job. And they say, we require all employees to use Gage. Then, here's the best part. They're going to post your schedule on Gage and say, this is where you get information on your schedule. Make sure you check it every day because it can change. Then, your boss is going to send you a message on Gage, and you're expected to answer, and they're going to say, I need you to come in on Sunday.
You get information
I know
on
you
your
have
schedule.
off, but
Make sure you check it
it's a rush day, and so we're asking you to come in, and no longer can you say, I didn't have my phone on me.
This is the future millennials want, too, because Gen Z is all about work-life balance, and millennials are the ones that are answering their Slack messages at 10 p.m.
I am anti-background check. I am anti-Freedom of Information Act. I am against all these things. I don't apply them at my own company. I don't do background checks, and I don't think so. I am just opposed to this on principle, and I might be the wrong person to ask that.
This is
People already use Glassdoor as a rating system for employers. Why can't it be two-sided? Gage could be a two-sided platform where employers can rate their employees can rate their employers.
You know, it was bad. You can destroy 50 people's lives by giving them bad scores so they can never work again. Not to mention, it is creepy for a boss to be like, your score went down 5 points because you refused to mop the bathrooms. I think this is a creepy thing to do. Stars, being like, I worked at this company, I give them 3 out of 5 stars. It's like, okay, I guess. This is a literal social credit score from 0 to 1,000 that follows you everywhere you go, no matter what. If I own a company and the employees give it a bad score and it fails, I just shut the company down and I open a new company. You have one account on this app, and you can't have 2 accounts, and it's going to follow you everywhere you go. And so if you get one boss that hates you, or like let's just go to the feminist rep, you get one boss that hits on you, and then you're like, I'm not interested, and he gets really angry, just says, fuck you, and then he nukes your score, what are you going to do about it?
Well, I don't think that something like this would reach mass adoption because employers will know that there is plenty of room for situations like that, human error.
I think
They wouldn't just assume that the score is objective just because it was provided by someone's previous employer.
you, at a corporation, a regional manager, a mid-level manager, are confronted with 10 applicants for 3 available positions. And you've got 800, 800, 800, 800, 400, 400, 400. You're not going to go you're going to throw the 400 in the garbage. They already do this now.
No,
Well, already-
I have to disagree because I will want to actually speak to the 400s, to under 400s, and I've learned through trial and error that I think I would throw the 800s maybe in the garbage before I throw the 400s in the garbage. I want to know why.
I think that makes no sense. It's illogical.
Well, I just think, like, Rate My Professor, it does seem illogical, but sometimes that's how... Rate My Professor used to be a big thing when I was in college, and I started going on there trying to game the system, looking for the easiest professors, and then I found that I actually got my best grades with the hardest professors. So I find that the candidates that have some type of unique story or whatever, that they tend to have more to prove. They have more to prove, and so it's just, you got to get them at the right place in their career.
80-20. You're going to be talking about a manager who makes $50,000 a year at overseeing like 3 McDonald's locations, and he's going to say, don't know, don't care. It's hard to get a good score. It is easy to get a bad score. So I know someone with a good score is at least able to pretend or hide whatever bad things they might be doing. And I'll take it, because I don't got to deal with it. I'm not going to get sued over it. And I've got legal protection when I say we only hired a certain threshold. It makes it that I can't be sued when I say no to a bad applicant.
In fact, I just actually did this in practice not too long ago. I can't disclose like the specifics, but I will say that instead of the perfect candidate, I went with a candidate who really had nothing on paper and looked much more flawed, and ended up, I think I made the right choice. It's only been about 6 months, but we'll see.
And that's entirely true. That will happen. The point is, at the macro scale, when companies have to hire 300,000 employees,
that's totally different.
Or they have 5,000 hourly wage employees at a series of chains, they're going to tell their managers, I don't know or care, we only hire 700 plus.
So you think this would happen mostly at larger scale companies and smaller ones wouldn't adopt something like this?
Smaller ones probably will spatteringly, but I feel like this app is an inevitability because we're a small company. and I've dealt with stupid government regulation and employment complaints.
But like, if you were using something like this, like me or Mary never would have been hired because we didn't have any history and like.
It's for hourly only anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's hourly shift worker
Okay.
based. It's not for salaries. So we would never have this app in the first place.
Yeah.
But if you are a burger restaurant, look, it's really simple. The $30,000 a year manager of your burger shop doesn't care and is sitting there with all the applications in front of him, and he's going, "What time is the fight? Dude, I don't care." With this app, he's going to be like, delete anything under 800. He's like, filter out anything below 800. He's going to see 3 800s, and he's going to be like, "We only got one spot to fill. I got 3 800s. Everyone else is in the garbage."
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's scale.
AI will
That's
probably
scale.
do it.
AI already does this.
Right.
Yep, AI already does resume searches, and so this is really fascinating what people do. They'll take out keywords for algorithms, like work late, overtime, double shift. They'll make it size 1 font and white, and they'll put it at the very bottom of the page, where the AI can see it. So when people submit their resumes, the AI filters are specifically looking for certain keywords, and their resume gets shoved to the top, despite the fact that they might already write, "I'm hardworking, willing to work overtime, and I really want this job." By doubling up the words, the algorithms are weighing them more heavily, and then it's shoved. It's people are making weird AI manipulating resumes. We are welcome to the nightmare scenario. It's getting crazy. It's going to get worse.
It is one of those things, like there's a meme going around on X right now of the guy drinking a bottle of vodka in his car. It's like what it's like applying for a job right now. It's like, "Welcome to your 3rd round of interviews." He's like, "Sir, this is a burger restaurant. Like, a 3rd round of interviews?"
Yeah, for all of the talk about people not wanting to work, it's almost like employers don't want to hire either.
Yeah.
Here's the other big thing too. Someone's mentioned this in Super Chat. Dan Vicious says employers can't do references, risk of lawsuit. They tell you this. Every time, one of the first bits of advice you get when you're opening a business is, anytime anyone calls your company to ask about an employee, you always just be absolutely neutral. You say, yes, so-and-so did work here. They no longer work. I would not hire them again. Thank you and have a nice day. That's all you can say. Because if you say they did X, they did Y, it's defamation. And
That's true.
they'll come after you. So think about this app. You're a company and you're like, how can we adequately share that this was a bad employee? Companies are going to be happy to do this. And there's nothing the worker bee can do about it. If you get locked in a low score, good luck getting out of that hole. Here's the other fun thing about it. There's going to be some dudes who are going to be like, "Hey, you own a restaurant, right? Hey, hire me on your app. Just give me good reviews. Like I'll give you $100." And they'll be like, "Okay, I want to get a 900, and then I can go apply." And that's what they'll do. Like there will be a dude at Burger King who's a shift manager for $16 an hour, and he'll be like, "Yay, I'll hire you." And it's like, just come hang out and I'll just give you good scores. You're good. And there'll be a lot of that. It's going to be wonky and busted. All right, we're going to go to your chats, my friends. So smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. We're going to grab your super chats and Rumble Rant for that uncensored members only show is coming up at rumble.com/TimCastIRL at 10 p.m. You don't want to miss it. In the meantime, let's grab your chats. All right, Shane H. Wilder says, "I'm glad Trump is calling out Pelosi's insider trading. She gets all these gains and can't send $1 to the Congo. She claims to be a Catholic and she hasn't heard about the Christian act of charity."
It's a travesty.
Uh-huh. That's right. Alpha 2 Omega says, "Howdy, people. I tried sharing your Australia no minors on social media video being in favor of it. Facebook triggered a single post 12 times and flagged it as spam and removing it. Censorship. I'm telling you." So I made a video about Australia is banning YouTube for under 16s, and it got almost no views. And so I'm like, okay, this is probably one of the most important stories on YouTube for people on YouTube, that YouTube will be banned for teenagers, regardless of your opinion on it. And for some reason, it's not appearing in recommendations.
But Tim, Mark Zuckerberg got a haircut and does jujitsu.
Oh, he's cool now. Pinochet says, "This isn't just against Trump, but an affront to every American. A violation of the Constitution. These are the domestic enemies mentioned in the oath I took excuse me, and was never relieved of. No quarter." Oh, yeah. Let's see what we got. Vic the Fix Shaw says, "About referrals. When I was down in Harper's Ferry 2 years ago, 3 bros and I stopped at HF Brewing, and it was 100 till they shut the place down. It was 100 till they shut the place down at 9:30. Management told us 11 and then tossed everyone out at 9:30. About
Oh, they showed up at 1.
it was 1 till it says 100 till they shut the place
You
down.
mean like 1 p.m. till
Yeah, they
11?
showed up at 1. And then the business claimed to be open until 11 and sent them out early.
Oh yeah. We used to love the Harper's Ferry Brew, but I guess they sold it.
Did they?
That's I guess we used to go there and we were like it's really cool that we have this local beer, and so we would buy like 600 tall boys from them, and then something happened where a few months like we'd go in, we'd order like 2 months worth of beer and have it stocked in the fridge, and then when guests would come, people don't really drink that much, we don't do it anymore, and then 2 months went by and we were like, oh, we should go restock. We showed up and they were like, you can't buy those. And we were like, we buy them every few months. And they were like, no, we can't sell those to you. And I was like, okay. It's like, we talked to the manager because the manager, like, we do this. And then they told us they weren't allowed to do it. And I guess they sold. And then we went back there for the first time a few months ago, and Brandon got super pissed because he's worked in a bar. He's worked in bars and he's played shows and stuff. And we got there like a half an hour before close, and there's 3 of us in line, and Andy walks up and gets a beer. He walks up and they go, bar's closed. And he was like, you just served him. Like, I know, but we just closed. And he was like, you haven't done anything. I don't know what it's called, but he's like, I know what you do when you shut down the taps. You can pour me a beer right now. And they're like, no, we're closed. And he was like, this is the worst place I've ever been to. I'm never coming back.
See, if they had the Gauge app, then we could just make sure that these people have zero
Oh, you
scores.
can't. No, that's Yelp.
Be the customer one.
Yeah, but I guess because he worked at a bar, he knows when the taps are shut down and when you can't serve beer, and they were still completely able to do it.
And Yelp doesn't always even work anyways. A lot of the employees, because they don't own the company, there's no stake in the company, they don't really care if they get bad reviews unless their manager comes and says something to them.
Well, businesses give themselves fake positive reviews on Yelp, too.
Yep.
It was like, there was an article for the upcoming Green Lantern television show on Warner Brothers, and the dude...
Green Lantern television show?
Yeah, it's called Lanterns, and like it says, a Warner Brother executive said that the show is fantastic. And I'm like, well, yeah, because Warner Brothers made it. That's like me. I was like, a PCC insider says that PCC is fantastic and you should go watch the show. It doesn't really mean anything if you own the company or have stake in the company saying that's awesome.
Max Reddick says, Tim, a while back you were working on getting David Pakman on the Culture War. Whatever happened with that? With all due respect to David Pakman, he was very polite and said that he was busy with family. I think he recently had children, and I respect that and have no issues and nothing bad to say. I disagree with him and his style of content, but it is what it is. And if he can't make it out, he can't. But we'll reach out to him again because we'd love to have him. I think it'd be a great show, and I think he would enjoy it too. So we'll see. I'd love to get like Kyle and Crystal Ball perhaps. I watched this really funny clip with Crystal Ball just scolding Alyssa Slotkin on Israel committing genocide in Gaza. And it was like, Slotkin was like, yes, you are correct. And then Crystal was just like, but it's a genocide. And she was like, okay. And Crystal was like, say it. I'm kidding, but it was kind of like that. I was like, wow, Crystal, like really just like going after her. And then Slotkin was like, I wrote a letter saying that they're being starved. And I'm like, it's a genocide Olympics. Like who can say more about Gaza than the other person? How fun. Let's see what we got here. Fook Dirk says, if no arrest is made, then Trump term 2 is a failure for me, and I will be demotivated to ever care about the right again. I don't care how great immigration and the economy is, he will be a failure. We live in a plutonomy, right? This country is of for and by the wealthy and always has been. And there was a report that was put out over a decade ago, it's almost 20 years ago now, by Citigroup, talking about how the will of the American people has no bearing whatsoever on legislation. And there's actually these really great infographics where it's like 80% of the country can want something, but as long as 30% of the wealthy want something, they get it. That's amazing, right?
It's like when you watch a show, it's like you watch something involving the U.S. government or like the CIA, and somebody says, it's vital to U.S. interests. And you say, like, what does that actually mean? Like, who is the person who decides what U.S. interests actually are?
So what is he saying will determine whether or not he's successful? I didn't get that part.
Arresting the corrupt people who sabotage the government.
Got it.
But I mean, I do think there's a bit of a fault to that because what did they do? Stop Trump from carrying out his agenda. So should Trump's agenda solely be on going after the people who stopped his agenda, or should he try and fulfill his agenda?
Be better than nothing, which is what we're getting now.
We're getting a little bit.
Well, we got the border shut down. We have a good economy, so which was the agenda. make America great again.
Yep.
I mean, I think that you're reducing it way down from what was promised.
Fair enough.
Perhaps. Let's grab some more. Andre says, what do you use to measure sleep and heart rate? Galaxy Watch? You keep it on sleeping? When do you charge it? So my bed, I have a Sleep 8 bed. Luke recommended it. I got it, and it heats and cools as you sleep, which is good. But it's not like the heating and cooling thing isn't perfect, but it does try to adjust the temperature so that you don't wake up either too hot or too cold, which it does work. But when I wake up in the morning, it shows me everything about my sleep. It tells me when I was in deep sleep, when I was in REM sleep, when I woke up. It's pretty amazing. And then it gives you a score.
Lying to you.
Are you sure that it's not going to share your biometric data?
Like that Spotify
that-
list.
Wait, what do you mean, am I sure? Did I ever say that they wouldn't?
But does it bother you that they almost certainly do?
No.
Okay.
That like, they're going to be like, they're going to share this data and be like, sir, Tim Pool entered deep sleep at 2 a.m., lasted for 1 hour before entering a period of light REM sleep.
No, they're gonna fact check you. They're like, Tim Pool said he deep slept for an hour, and it was actually 52 minutes. And then they're gonna Snopes is
I
gonna
mean,
cover it.
Yeah.
knowing when you're awake or asleep is actually...
They don't actually need the bed to track that. This is the most amazing thing. There was this website in the early 2000s. I think it was called like the Spark or something. Do you guys remember this? You're old enough, right?
I'm old.
And it had a bunch of tests. And they were really rudimentary early websites. There's no apps or anything. And one of them was called the gender test. And it would ask you weird questions, and then it would tell you what your gender was. And you were like, how does this make sense? So basically it was like, I will ask you questions and then predict your gender. And it would ask you things like, which do you prefer? And it would show a bike, a boat, and a plane. And you're like, I don't know, boat, I guess. And then it would say, pick a shape. And it would be like a blue triangle. It would be like a red square, a green circle. And then women tended to pick certain things for some reason, that men tended to pick something else for some reason. And at the end, it would be like, you're a woman, you're a man. And it got it right like 90% of the time.
That last one just sounded like a PlayStation controller.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about it is that was before AI. That was just a basic algorithm. That was like 90% of the time women pick these things, men pick these things, and so we can make that prediction. Now, Facebook, based off of the weirdest of things, knows when you're going to poop. That's not a joke or an exaggeration. This has been published 7 or 8 years ago. Your mobile app has the Facebook, your Messenger app, or the actual Facebook app. It knows when you're moving. It knows when you're sitting. It knows when you're eating based on how you're moving and where you're at. So it knows when you go to work and when you go to lunch. Why? Because it has GPS data and it knows the coordinates of Burger King. So you go to work, you then get up. It knows when you're going to go to lunch before you do based on the patterns of your movement at work. Then it predicts you're going to go eat, and based on the prediction of when you're going to eat, it knows when you're going to have a bowel movement. And this is not an exaggeration or meant to be funny. It literally does this without anything, but all it needs is your GPS. It's crazy.
Is it called the TMI?
Perhaps. But you know, for Zuckerberg and the rest of this company, they're like, this data is invaluable. Like, you can control populations, you can predict their movements. It's insane what they can do. And I'll tell you this, I'm willing to bet AI is far more advanced than we even realize. The commercial grade stuff they're showing us,
Yeah.
it's probably 20 years more advanced they got behind the
I mean,
scenes.
they had GPS for decades
Yep.
before it was ever commercially available, right?
That's right.
Like, I always imagine, like, if I was Google and I wanted government contracts, I would and they said no, I would just shut down Google Maps for a day. And then say, okay, let the peasants figure out where they're going. Same with Apple.
Think about how crazy that is. That I used to have memorized like excuse me, like 20 or 30 phone numbers. Now I have got 2.
I never wrote down. I didn't start writing down phone numbers until I was in my early 30s. I promise. I memorized everybody's, and then,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden my memory started to.
Yeah, now it's just you store it in your phone, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't know your phone number. I know your name.
Did you see that post that was going around on X like last week where it was like, technology's going too far, man. My roommate got locked out of his light bulbs, and now we're sitting in the dark because he doesn't know his
dude.
password.
Let me tell you about the worst thing about Sleep 8 is that when my bed gets disconnected from the internet, I can't turn it off. Yeah. So you get this. My bed ran out of water, so the air conditioner wasn't working, or the temperature control. And I was like, whatever, I'm not dealing with this. So I went to sleep. Then I wake up with my alarm going off, it vibrates. It goes bonk, bonk, bonk. And I pick my phone up and go to the app, and it says, can't find it. So there's no way to turn it off. So now I got to get up and go to the box and unplug it. It's a nightmare. You know what else I want to stress? You know what I hate more than anything right now is TV. Let me tell you, Jen, you guys, maybe you remember this. I don't know, you youngsters. When I was a kid, you know what I would do? I'd walk up to the TV, and I would grab a little knob, and I would pull it out. You'd pull the knob forward, and the TV would turn on. And there were two knobs. There was it VHF and UHF? And I'd go click, 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 click. But here's the best part. It was already on channel 32 Fox. So when The Simpsons were coming on at, like 7 o'clock or 5:30, I'd go up to the TV, I'd pull the little thing forward, the TV would turn on, and I'd sit down. Do you know what I have to do now, Brett? I turn the TV on, then it boots up, it starts booting up. It takes about 10 seconds. Then it brings me to loads of home screen, and instantly a thing pops up saying, would you like to update your TV? To which I say, no, I don't want to update my TV. Then a box pops up saying, would you like to update your remote? No, I don't want to update remote. Then I click home. Then it takes 10 seconds to load. Then I have to press down to go to the YouTube TV app, and I hit it, and it says, would you like to update the app? And I say no. Then it opens the app, and it's on some default pre-record, and I have to then select and find the channel. Gone are the days where I could just click the button and it turned on to the channel I watch all the time. Those were the days, huh?
Channel 3 so that you could go turn on your video games right away.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is they still have, with all that, they still have you like go to each individual letter and select and then go back.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they would have figured that out.
Modern TVs suck.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I mean, what you need is a Roku TV with the very pleasant Roku City playing in the background. Keeping it
PlayStation.
safe. Yeah.
I just do.
You gotta get a Roku TV.
I turn the PlayStation on, and I turn the TV on, let it boot, I don't care. I press the PlayStation, I go to YouTube, enter, but it pops up.
I want them to make a movie about Roku City.
What is Roku?
Roku City is when you have a Roku TV that's just
Right.
a city that plays in the background.
Well, it's all of these like apocalyptic scenarios.
Yeah.
that
Is it
are
real?
In a robot. They need to make a Skibbity Toilet Roku City movie.
Just load it up into AI.
Yeah.
I am going to make that scene from Star Wars where Mace Windu is like, oh yeah, Anakin, you're right, I better not just randomly kill the Chancellor. That would be an assassination.
I think if I did it, I would take the movie Little Big League where Ken Griffey Jr. robs him of a home run at the end. I'd have him actually hit the home run and they'd win.
You know what I would do is I would have Mace Windu accuse the Chancellor of colluding with the Trade Federation to steal the election and then bog him down with years of investigation so that he couldn't enact his agenda.
But he does declare him under arrest.
But then,
to be fair,
Force lightnings, and Anakin walks in, and then the lightning is rebounding onto the Emperor, and he goes, "Don't let him kill me." And then Mace Windu was like, "I have to. He's too powerful." And then Anakin's like, "No, he should be arrested and tried." And he goes, "He controls the courts. He can't be stopped. I have to kill him." And then when he goes to swing to kill him, Anakin cuts his arm off. Anakin did nothing wrong. Like I'm sorry. If a religious military faction is trying to assassinate the duly elected leader because he's of a different religion, you stop the person trying to kill the other guy. The Chancellor didn't go to the Jedi Temple and try to murder anybody. He was in his chancellery quarters or whatever when the Jedi showed up and said, "We just found out you have a different religion from us, so we're going to kill you." And it's like, what? And Anakin was like, "Don't." You know, and they make him the bad guy. And then Obi-Wan, he's the real bad guy because he torches Anakin. Come on. Obi-Wan stows away in Anakin's pregnant wife's car and then jumps out standing there like a dick. Like,
You should pitch this to George. You should pitch this to George Lucas. He loves redoing it. He never leaves it alone.
I would modify Titanic so that she chooses her fiance and doesn't cheat on him.
I would modify Titanic so that when she's on the front and she's going, yeah, she falls in and he's like, oh, crap.
What's with the young Hayden Christensen Force Ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi? Why are Yoda...
They changed it.
I know, but why? Why not...
Why did he change it?
Yeah, because Obi-Wan and Yoda are old, so why does Darth Vader get
Younger?
rewarded? Yeah, younger.
Right, yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
George Lucas is not of his mind. The sequel movies are the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. Talk
Because
about
in the
garbage.
original one, he had people that could tell him no, and there was nobody to tell him no in the later ones.
I'm
The
gonna
sequels don't exist. To me, that's just Disney. That's a cash grab. The prequels, they could have got it right if you know...
Yeah, the first one didn't need it.
If the Clone Wars were Episode 1.
The
Not the
irony
Clone
would
Wars,
be-
but Episode 2, Attack of the Clones was Episode 1. and then they made the Clone Wars Episode 2. Because Episode 3 was good. It was just it was rushed.
It could be ironic.
Agreed.
Maybe you could use AI to make Avatar actually interesting.
You know, the big problem with Episode 3 as well is that it is rushed. There's no transition to the dark side. You don't see what drives Anakin. In the Clone Wars series, you can see him
Yeah,
embracing
exactly.
darkness. And so it makes no sense that, like, in Revenge of the Sith, he's like, I am a good guy, and you're a Sith and must be stopped, and I'll inform the Jedi. And then 10 minutes later, he's like, I'm going to side with the Sith now, and I'm going to murder children. It's like, well, why?
Yeah, and also General Grievous's character, like there's no build up to that character. You get to see him in the Clone Wars take on that kind of that Vader-esque, at least the villain personality. So they really,
I would change a lot of
Missed the boat
movies.
with that one.
I would change Episode 4. I guess it's called 4. And it would be like when Luke puts the computer away and the voice is like, use the Force, Luke. And then they're like, Luke, is something wrong? He's like, no, I got this. And then he just misses. And then they're going to be like, you moron, you turned your computer off. He's like, but I thought magic was going to save me. And then it doesn't. And then the Death Star just blows everybody up. That's the better ending. Actually, what I really want to do is I want to make an entire version of Star Wars that is the truth. The truth is the Empire did nothing wrong. It's all rebel propaganda. The religious zealots from a desert planet took a cargo ship and blew up a military base. You know, and then they made a movie about it where they're like, oh, but, you know, like Darth Vader, he blew up a planet. And it's like, did he? Or is that propaganda? Yeah.
What's another series or movie you'd make a change to?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. Probably all of them. How about, what's the one I just watched? Happy Gilmore. His wife should have died of cancer. Yeah, like, come on.
But the Jedi maintained peace for millennia. I'm sorry, I'm not going with the Star Wars thing. They maintained peace for
Yeah,
millennia.
kidnapping children and indoctrinating them to their religion and executing anybody who's of a different religion, sure. Of course, in their movies, they paint it as noble. But, like, look how they use Jedi mind tricks, which we consider to be a good thing to do. To, like, prey upon the minds of your everyday person because they're weak-willed so you can get what you want.
Well, the
They're
Sith
evil.
were anti-alien. I mean, they colluded with gangsters. I mean, they were.
That's all extended universe stuff that's been retconned. It's no longer real. If you actually watch the movies, the only real thing they did is they blew up. They blew up Alderaan?
Yeah,
Or was it Alderaan?
it was all there.
Yeah. Darth Vader's like, I'm gonna blow up a planet for no reason, and it's like, what? Why? So if like, I think you could easily remake Star Wars where you could have, you know, Darth Vader, who's a disabled war veteran, resisting this fanatical religious zealotry that are trying to impose their religious will over a government to the point where they tried. Let's put it this way. A religious militant sect has a high level of power in the government of the galaxy. And when they find out the Chancellor has a different religion, what did he do wrong? What did the Chancellor do wrong? There's a civil war and machinations. Okay, that's you got to prove that in court. You got to present evidence. You can't show up to his room and just be like, kill him.
Well, the galaxy was, I should say, the universe was oppressed under the Sith.
It's just
and the Jedi.
it's just a galaxy, not the universe. In the actual Star Wars canon, there's other galaxies.
Yeah.
So
That's why I said universe.
But he's not ruling. The Sith are not ruling over other galaxies.
Oh, really?
Yes. So one of the old extended stories was that the Emperor was actually trying to mechanize the galaxy because an external galactic threat was coming, and there was a story written about it.
That was canon?
It used to be, and they got rid of it. Disney was like, nah, throw it in the garbage.
And you're sure the anti-alien thing is not canon?
I think it is. Well,
Or isn't canon?
it like they made this stuff after the fact because in the original Star Wars, the Empire was just an empire, and then you only ever hear him say, "I hate the Empire," and you're like, well, "What did the Empire do?" They blew up Alderaan. They're evil. They blew up a planet. You know what I mean? All right. We're going to go to the members-only portion of the show, my friends, at rumble.com/TimCastIRL. So smash the like button. Share the show with everyone, you know. It's going to be fun. Make sure you use promo code TIM10 if you want to get $10 off your yearly membership. You can follow me on X and Instagram at TimCast. Good sir, would you like to shout anything out?
Check out the app. Go on the App Store. Go to alio.com, A-L-L-I-O, aliocapital.com. And, check it out. Give it a spin.
Right on.
Go subscribe to Pop Culture Crisis. We go live every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern on both YouTube and Rumble. Brett is going to sell it to you a second time. You can also send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived. You can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived.
I think we'll just let Mary sell it. That's
Oh,
good.
okay.
That's they're more likely to click on it if you tell them. Anyways.
Okay, we'll
if
go with that.
if you guys want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. And yeah, Pop Culture Crisis, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m.
We will see you all at rumble.com/TimcastIRL in about 30 seconds. Thanks for hanging out.
Both Rumble and YouTube. You can give us a call and talk about something we've discussed today, or if you have a story you want to share, anything.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
And I know a lot of people.
Modern women are doomed by this new, what is this here? Anti-paternity fraud law?
A lot of people are. And I am someone that has a really hard time asking for help. But I am so desperate.
For what? Shut up.
Y'all bashing me about having 7 kids and looking for somebody to help take care of them. What is the issue? As a single woman, am I supposed to just give up on life and not want to
You
find
should have given up on kids after 20.
man that's going to help me and my kids?
What?
husband got a paternity test on our 5-year-old daughter and it came back negative, and now he wants a divorce. And
If you falsely
Yeah.
accuse a man of being your baby's daddy, it's called parentage fraud, and it's
Wow.
no joke.
Those of you who are in Tennessee, guess what? House Bill 2689 is getting ready to pass. That is requiring paternity tests before you sign the birth certificate. Because, you know, when people do paternity tests, 1/3 of the time, they end up not being the father. And if they start testing everybody, then
What? Well, I guess that's probably selection bias, to be fair.
can only go up, not down. They're actually starting to jail time the ladies for maternity fraud.
If J.D. Vance becomes president, this is going to be nationwide, okay?
Because it is such a
Oh, yeah.
And yes, it's a crime.
Hallelujah. This needs to go nationwide. But at least it's the first step.
Yep, true.
Progress, not perfection.
Sure.
But in the meantime, I advise any male that I know to get yourself a DNA kit and swab that child's mouth. Because you...
It's weird to me that they don't just do this as a default. I feel like you should just do this as a default. I mean, for, like, records purposes.
You'd be surprised just how many of those kids belong to another man.
Man.
I bought a Chanel bag with my child support money, and everybody was upset.
Oh, my God. Everybody is upset. I wonder why. What could possibly be the reason?
Child support is reimbursement for the money that I already waste on my kids. So me,
I waste on my... Okay.
on a Chanel bag, it evens out. I am not going to be saving my child support money for college. What if they don't even go to college? I'm not going to make them go.
Oh, these poor fucking kids. Oh, God. I feel so bad for these kids. Holy shit, bro. This is bad spawn RNG.
Go to college if they don't want to. So I'm going to be saving all that money for what? We are living in the moment. Tomorrow is not promised. So we're going to have fun.
This is one thing that I've really noticed with a lot of people like this that are bad decision makers, is that most bad decision makers live in the moment.
That money.
It's a very common
I'm
pattern.
Gonna have fun with that money.
A few moments later.
Child support court update. So I had court again today because a new judge was assigned to the case. If you don't know, I get $3,700 of child support every month, and I use it on myself. I don't use it on my kids. The old judge that was assigned to our case was okay with me spending, the child support on myself because he clearly said it was just reimbursement for what I have been spending on my children. But the judge today was not having none of that.
Damn.
And she completely
She knew what was going on.
took me off of child support.
Damn.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
So Trump passed a law stating that whoever pays child support get to file that child on the taxes. Pardon me?
Why are you mad about that?
Just to be told, I've got nothing in the will, nothing, and he was worth £33 million.
My baby daddy quit his job as an electrician where he was making over 6 figures a year to work a minimum wage job at a fast food place just so he wouldn't have to pay me $3,000 a month in child support.
What's up with this new
What?
tax rule that Trump wants to
The glasses, bro.
implement? This idea
Every time.
that hey, look, daddy boys, if you pay that child support for your own children, you get to write that off. And whoever is, the primary caretaker, i.e. single moms, you've got to foot the bill and you get no benefit.
Well, they should both be able to write it off, right? I mean, if they're both parents.
I bet you more than half of fathers who are separated from their baby mamas do not have 50-50 custody.
I feel like if you're the kind of person that is even using the term baby mamas unironically, you are already in hood rat territory. You are already in trailer park territory. Like, who the fuck talks about this? Who even uses this word?
Because of the mother. Because of the selfishness of the mother.
Why did I divorce my husband? I divorced my husband because I was making a certain amount of money. I divorced my husband because I thought I didn't need him anymore. I divorced my husband because I had this senior position at work and thought I held the same position at home. I divorced my husband because I thought I was better than him because I had my degree now.
Today is Friday, and I got my child support check.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna go leave my kids at their grandmother's house and
Oh my God, do not tell me you're going to do self-care. Please do not tell me it's going to be self-care.
and I'm probably gonna go out drinking with my husband, go out and gamble a little bit.
It's worse. Oh my God.
Maybe go shopping. The kids don't need anything because I provide everything for them, so I might just go ahead and splurge on myself with my little child support check.
I see that there's a rumor going around on social media that Trump has signed a bill to do away with child support, and if anybody's on child support and they pay child support, the other parent that has full custody of that child will not be able to claim on their taxes.
When I left my husband, I was only making like $16 an hour. And so...
Oh no, not again.
That was not enough. And so I got myself into a lot of credit card debt because I moved into an apartment that I couldn't really afford, but I
Why did you
thought
move
that
there?
someone else was going to be living with me in it. So that's
What do you mean? The ex?
No. Okay, so right after I got divorced, I got into a situation with somebody I knew from work. And
how quickly after the divorce?
well, like immediately. It was like a rebound, right? I guess is what they would call it.
Okay.
And
Like
we
in
worked
like the
together.
day after?
Maybe.
Wow. Well, I was
Sorta.
right.
Yes.
Okay.
Holy shit.
So I knew him, right? We worked together. That's how we met.
Well, wait,
And
how long are you married?
almost 5 years.
Did you guys ever have any kids?
Yes.
And you got with this person a day after?
Yes, but
See, this is the thing. Imagine this is your mom. Like, you're already playing on hard mode. You don't even know it yet. You're 3 years old and you're already cooked. You spawned in and like you open up your chest in Fortnite and it's got like one of those like little green potions and the little bomb that makes you dance. And the other guy spawns next to you with a blue fucking AR. Have fun.
I thought he was like the love of my life.
A day after a divorce. Okay.
Yes.
Actually, it's more like this. It's more like, remember back in PUBG, where like sometimes the game would lag out and you would just like hit the ground and just immediately die whenever you drop in? That's basically what this is like.
So did y'all hear that Trump is supposed to be putting into action where if the father of a child pays child support, then he can claim the child on the income taxes?
Yeah. Wow.
I saw that story all over.
The problem with child support is that it's calculated based on how much money both of the parents make.
Yeah.
The more money dad makes, the more he pays. But the more money that mom makes, the less she gets. This absolutely incentivizes people not to be successful, which is not making the world a better place. It's making the world a worse place, especially.
That is stupid, by the way. Yeah. I'm okay with a man having to pay. Like, I'm a child support supporter. I think this is a good system because it's the best. Like, I don't think that you should look at, whenever you have a kid, like, you shouldn't look at what's best for the kid, what's best for the mom or what's best for the dad. You should look at what's best for the kid. And I think that a society that doesn't put the best interests of its children and young people first is a society that's doomed to die. And so I'm a big fan of that. But I think also, like, why would the woman not, like, get the same amount of money? Why? It doesn't even make sense. Yeah, they use it for themselves. Well, they should need receipts. Yeah, of course, right? I mean, obviously.
For the children involved. This system does not take into any account the actual needs of the child.
Exactly.
It only punishes parents for trying to be successful.
Yeah.
We just came into the mail. Look at this. And child support money. Let's see how much we got. Oh, God. We're about to get paid. Let's see how much.
$16. What?
I didn't get squat. Right here. $0. The fuck am I gonna do with $0?
There's some people about to be real mad about the world. But
yeah, I don't even agree with that deadbeat dad shit either. But like, the thing is that I think guys obviously, like, I mean, everybody knows like custody court is like rigged in favor of women. And it's rigged in favor of women to a degree that, like, I think that in general, like, this is going to be a, Asmongold traditionalist take. I think that in general, like, we've had women being caretakers of children and men being breadwinners for families for as long as we've had bread.
Need something?
Okay? So there's definitely like a natural order of things, and I think the natural order of things should not be disrupted. So I think that like there's a trend, but like, and that's okay to like have a little bit of like maybe like a 55-45, a 60-40, but this is like a 95-5 where you have like these crackhead crazy moms that are sitting around, doing their eyebrows, in like some fucking spa every month. That are spending all the child support money, and the kids sitting there on assisted food for fucking school. I mean, this is a problem. Marriage is a scam. Marriage is not a scam. Marriage should be more strongly enforced. I think that there should be more marriage tax credits, and more people should be incentivized into being married. And I think that the ability for people to get divorced for no-fault divorces and the receding of marriage incentives has been detrimental not only for people getting married, but also for children.
one thing that needs to be addressed is child support laws.
I'm divorced.
I'm divorced. Yep.
I thought I'd be happier. Except the judge set the child support amount.
Oh my God. I thought I'd be happier, but I'm not getting paid enough money.
At $326 a month.
Well, you shouldn't have married a bum. You shouldn't have been taking back shots under a bridge from Rufus, the man who lives in a shopping cart. This is your fault. You did this. What are you doing?
$326 a month for 2 kids for child support is what he has to pay me. $326 a month.
What does he make?
Because he's not working. Because he chooses not to. I was able to cross-examine him, which was fun. And I asked him how many hours
He's probably watching the stream right now.
a week he spends working.
0.
Or trying to sell houses, because technically he still has a real estate license, so technically he's still a realtor.
0.
He said 15 hours a week,
That's 0.
approximately.
Approximately 15.
Is how many hours he works.
Give or take 15.
Grown man. Grown, able-bodied man with transportation and no child care to worry about. Says he works 15 hours a week.
In 2024,
And what do you do?
where there have been various changes to child support laws in California.
Y'all, it's tax season and there's about to be some pissed off people. Like, so basically, the new law is saying that if you are the one paying the child support, like if you pay child support, you get to claim your kids. Those kids.
Why is this bad? What are you talking about? So, don't you understand how taxes work? The entire idea of taxes is for them to properly view how much money you're spending, where it's going, and how to incentivize people to spend money on things that are beneficial. So let me get this straight. So you want guys paying child support, but you also don't want them to be able to write the kids off? I think you just hate your boyfriend or your ex-boyfriend. That's it.
On your taxes. So for the moms out there that are collecting child support,
you
don't get to claim your kids on your taxes.
Damn.
What?
Child support. Yes, I'm a baby daddy. That's so ghetto and so embarrassing. Anyways.
Husband's funeral, which unfortunately I cannot make because obviously I am busy here in Tunisia. I would have loved to have gone. We were together for 17 years. Unfortunately for me, he did decide to die on the week I had planned to come on holiday, so I didn't make the decision not to go because, you know, I need a holiday at the end of the day, and my holiday is way more important than sitting in a church watching people cry. I would love to give him a good send-off, so I'm going to get absolutely drunk tonight with this new guy that I met, and I'm going to raise a glass for you, Jeremy, because you were an amazing husband, very rich. I can't wait to do...
There's no way.
The will reading when I'm home. I have made sure I'm going to be home in time to do the will reading because I would not miss that for the world because obviously I am due to get a lot of money and that's a very, very important thing to me.
I don't believe this
I hope you have a good funeral today, Jeremy. Love you. All good things have to come to an end. So I did miss my husband's funeral because I was in holiday in Tunisia. I would not have missed my holiday for the world, and I know my husband would have understood because that's just the kind of guy he was. But yes, I have come back from my holiday just to make sure that I got back in time for the will reading because I am not going to miss that for the absolute world. I have been held captive in the Ukraine for at least a week now.
There's
following
no way.
my holiday in Tunisia
There's no
where I
way.
did get pregnant with a very well-known married celebrity baby. However, I am very lucky to have been released just in the nick of time for my husband's will reading, because I do deserve all of that money. I spent 17 years with this man, which is a lot longer than any of his children did. So I deserve the inheritance a lot more than...
Well, what does that mean?
...than his own children. So I am
So
going...
she wants the money over... Oh my...
...to fight the will with lawyers...
Wait, so she already is assuming she's not in the will?
He has left any of his inheritance to his children.
She's trying to...
Because they do not deserve it. Unlike me.
You guys think it's fake?
Who looked after him every single day, 17 years.
Guys, I just don't know, man.
When they were out living their own lives.
I hope
That
this
money's
one's
mine.
fake. Okay.
So what y'all thinking about the new child support order?
This one's fake. All right.
Do you think it's fair that you can get child support, but then you can't claim your child at the end of the year?
I spent 17 years of my life with an elderly man who smelled like cabbage, just to be told I've got nothing in the will, nothing.
I see how this evolved.
And he was worth £33 million. And you think this is funny?
Yeah, I do. I think that the problem that we have is that prostitution isn't just legal. Like, we used to have concubines, we used to and this mistresses. We had a system for this for like thousands of years, and now we're trying to reinvent the wheel. Let's just bring it back, because that way there won't be any weird confusions.
Wasted my life.
This is
with a
confusing.
geriatric coffin dodger for nothing.
Coffin
Why
dodger?
everyone thinks it's so funny that my husband donated all his money to a bunch of cats and dogs. Who even likes cats and dogs?
Oh, he didn't like you either.
Literally going to be homeless. Like, I've got no money.
Man.
Not even my own house or my car.
Yeah?
Like, I'm literally going to be poor. I'm going to have to shop in fucking Asda, like all the other poor people. Not Asda.
$33 million.
I've wasted my life thinking I was going to get millions by marrying that elderly coffin dodger. And he looked like a shriveled up fucking prune.
DNA test proves David is not the father.
Oh my God. What is wrong with these people, man? Nah, bro, this is fake. You know it's fake. You think all of these are fake? Guys, I don't think they're all fake. I think some of them could be fake. I think there's a possibility that a small handful of them, maybe even a good amount of them, are fake. But I don't think that all of them are fake. And I think that we can all agree on that, right?
This is the fourth time that I've recorded this.
Man.
If you don't know me already and haven't watched any of my
I don't know you. I haven't seen him.
and know my story,
Yeah.
go back and watch those
Oh,
first.
God. We have required reading?
Some background knowledge.
Just fucking explain it.
I'm sitting in my closet.
Obviously.
Because if you don't know, my son and I share a bedroom. And
Yeah?
I'm in the closet, so he doesn't wake up. And that's why the lights are off in here too.
They're not off.
I am going through a really hard time right now.
Yeah. Please
And I know
donate.
a lot of people are. And I am someone that has a really hard time asking
Oh.
for help.
Okay. That's what I thought. So she's begging for money. In the closet.
And I need to know
Man.
that I have tried everything and all of my resources.
They're not all fake. As a former bartender, I've actually heard women talking about doing this. Yeah, of course.
TikTok shop.
I mean, like, really? Like, I mean, is it really that insane for you to imagine that a young woman is trying to marry an old man for wealth? Like, I mean, is this really something that, like, no, there's no way that's happening. There's no, it must be something else.
Creator Fund. It's all I need you to do is please just watch this all the way through and like it and repost it.
Jesus Christ.
And do all the things.
Jesus.
I literally don't know what else to do. I don't have a lot of time. I work as a teacher, and I don't have a lot of time
To be on, what is this bullshit?
Because I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
And so I'm.
This is not even anything. It's just her talking. Like, it's not even about her being that. No, the thing is, they need to have. I'll link y'all the video. It's kind of funny to see some of these. I think that really the problem. Here's what the problem is, right? The problem is that you got a lot of these people that do this, and I think, honestly, the reason why men have such resentment about child support is because of how one-dimensional it usually is. And I think that from everything that I've seen, it seems like the courts are pretty fucking rigged against men, right? From, like, what I've seen, probably what a lot of you guys have seen, too, it's, like, extremely common that this is happening. So there it is. I mean, that's it, because they get fucked? Yeah, exactly. Prenup, always sign a prenup? No, just don't marry hoes. Like, that's the solution, like a prenup or anything like that. I think that, again, all of this, like, anti-women sentiment, I don't think you need to have any of that. I think there's a degree of, like, just straight-up fucking accountability that people like this need to have. And whenever you're talking about paying child support, it's not about, like, the mom paying for new nails or some bullshit. It's about making sure this kid's able to afford a clothes, right? I mean, that's what's going on. So, yeah, I pay for $1,900 for 2 kids with 50% custody. Yeah, and like, I think it would be fine, too, if, like, the courts were more fair in terms of, like, who gets custody and who doesn't. Because if it was more balanced between who gets custody and who doesn't, I think that you'd see less resentment towards outcomes like this, right? It's hard to find a girl who ain't a hoe, though. That's not true at all. I think this entire idea that, like, all women are like this and this is some kind of, like, overall big problem, I think it's bullshit. I do. Because, like, out of all my friends, I know two people that have been in a long-term relationship or a marriage with a hoe. And one of them, by the way, she was a stripper named Angel, okay? So really, I mean, you should have known that. That's like pushing the big red button that says don't push the button. Well, he pushed it. He did. And that's what happened. Yeah, he could fix her. No, he didn't. And yeah, that's what it was. And so what are we talking about, Nick? No, I'm not talking about Nick. Nick was not even... I'm talking about, like, people that I've grown up with and I've known. The majority of my friends, I mean 95% of my friends that are married or in long-term relationships have had zero of these problems. The entire idea that this is a big issue on the internet because everybody on the internet is on the internet because they're fucking jaded because they got broken up with or they got cheated on by some girl. So we all know they're going to do it. Next week it's going to happen. So in general, Terminally Online Chatters, yes, the people that are all of my friends that are happily married with kids, do you know what they're not doing? Talking about it on Reddit. Do you know why? Because they're busy. They're busy grilling food. They're busy seeing their friends. They're busy doing something with their wife. Or, oh my God, they might even be busy spending time with their kids. They're not going on the internet and talking about this all the time. They're not thinking about this. Yeah, but yes, they're busy getting cheated on. No, they're not getting cheated on. Every guy, yeah, they're working. Exactly. They're taking care of the kids. Your anecdotal evidence is subjective ignorance? No, it's not. Think about this logically. This is the same thing I said about Warcraft. If there's a hot girl on Warcraft, why is she on that game? Uh-oh. I bet they're older, though. They are. They're all around in their 30s. And the reason why is because these are people I've grown up with. I've known them 10, 15, 20 years. And so, yeah, like, that's the way that I know about it. And you're insane. Everybody says I'm crazy, but how many of you guys here, How many of you guys that have grown up and you've had friends for many years, and the vast majority of your friend group and people that you know who are married or in relationships have not had any of these problems ever, and it's completely fucking, completely normal for them? Yeah, just say in chat. Yeah, I'm too young. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, all my friends are a mess. I've got a number of friends that are a mess too. Yeah, 0 friends with problems. Yeah, exactly. The hoe ratio is not as high as the internet would have you believe. And do you want to know one of the reasons why? Is because in the same way that a lot of the women that are on the internet complaining about men are on the internet complaining about men because they're so obnoxious that men don't want to spend time with them in real life, a lot of the men that are on the internet complaining about women are on the internet complaining about women because they don't have women that want to spend time with them in real life either. You have a massive selection bias. Maybe it's a California thing, but it's pretty high with my IRL friends here. Hey, I can believe that. California is a different place, bro. It's a different country. Men and women love me, yeah, for sure. And cute together, yeah, exactly. And thank you for calling it out. People call you crazy, and nobody calls you a liar. The hotter the woman, the more likely infidelity happens. That is not true. That is an idea that people that have been cheated on by a girl or people who can't get a hot girlfriend think. My dad once used a term, and I will never forget this term. Fuck hogs. It's not true. It's just not.
Donald Trump has made some major new trade announcements that are big wins for the U.S., and that's right when Carney decides to make a fatal mistake in these trade negotiations, and it's looking like he's throwing in the towel, and he doesn't even want a deal to get done. Don't worry, Canadian politicians are setting tens of millions of taxpayer dollars on fire just to stick it to the Americans, and that's all because everybody keeps saying, Donald Trump is attacking Canadian sovereignty. Well, I'll tell you what. Canada's sovereignty is under attack. However, I don't think it's from Donald Trump. There is a lot to talk about in today's video, so let's get into it. Just getting into these brand new trade announcements from Trump. These are important to kind of reference up front before we get into how Canada's acting with their new announcements and these two-state solutions, all this stuff, because this is why I think Trump's saying what he's saying.
Another major trade deal just one day ahead of the August 1st deadline for the reciprocal tariffs to return. South Korea agreeing to make a $350 billion investment into U.S. projects. The purchase of $100 billion worth of U.S. energy and a
$100 billion of U.S. energy. Surely Canada would not have benefited from that at all.
15% tariff on South Korean exports into America with no tariff on U.S. exports into South Korea.
I love how he keeps getting these deals done where it's like, yeah, you guys are guaranteed a minimum 15%. We will pay none.
The U.S. striking a separate deal with Pakistan yesterday to help develop its oil reserves as the president imposes a 50% tariff on most Brazilian goods. The U.S. making deals so far with the EU, Japan.
It's okay. Brazil's got bricks.
Japan, Indonesia, South Korea, UK, Vietnam, and the Philippines, while talks with China are ongoing.
So this is why I wanted to set the tone. Obviously, there was the huge announcement with South Korea, so that's another deal that they've gotten done. I think what's happening is more and more leverage is just on the American side, and that's why Trump acted the way he did after these new Canadian announcements. Because we already have Mark Carney saying this about the Canadian side of the trade deals and how they're going to get things done.
Another day facing the same questions.
Any update on the trade negotiations?
Another day with no deal.
As you know, we're seeking the best deal for Canadians. We have not yet reached that deal. Negotiations will continue until we do.
The Prime Minister says his team is back in Washington trying to break through, but gave the clearest indication yet he might not land a deal by Donald Trump's deadline.
These are complex, they're comprehensive, they're constructive negotiations with the Americans are ongoing. It's possible that they may not conclude by the 1st of August.
Yeah, I think it's pretty possible. And we're going to get into a story later about some Canadian diplomats. So I don't think we're sending our best over there. And this is one of the few times that I would actually prefer Canada hire consultants and bring them in for these trade negotiations. Canada sets billions and billions of dollars on fire for consultants. And this is the one time where I'm like, don't even let the Canadian diplomats in the door.
Economic advisor, more optimistic than the president last week.
I think that there's still hope for progress, and if the progress isn't what the president wants, then the deadline will kick in August.
Without a deal, Trump is threatening 35% tariffs.
August 1st is a very big day for this country because money is going to pour into the United States like we've never seen before.
So far, Trump's announced deals with the UK, European Union, and countries in Asia. The latest tonight with South Korea. All agreements include tariffs.
So UK and European Union are very important. Also, the fact that they're including tariffs, very important. But the big thing that they said there is it looks like as of August 1st, Canada is going to be hit with 35% tariffs. And that is a big deal. But here's the new mistake that Mark Carney and his super genius team, and keep in mind, this is supposed to be the Trump whisperer. This is supposed to be the #1 guy in the world dealing with Trump. That's legitimately how he was branded, that this is like the ultimate banker, super genius, deal maker. He's run all of these businesses. He's done all these things. Like, this was supposed to be the best guy, because a lot of Americans don't know this, But this guy wasn't even living in Canada. He was basically parachuted in from another country and came in as, oh, look, I'm going to be this new Canadian leader. And he was rebranded entirely. He's a total globalist, environmental zealot that was just brought in as the Trump whisperer. And this is the move that he decides to make during negotiations. We are less than 48 hours away from the deadline. Why are you even spending time on this?
Prime Minister Mark Carney going where no Canadian government has gone before.
Canada intends to recognize the state of Palestine at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September 2025.
But that declaration comes with a number of conditions for the Palestinian Authority, which currently governs parts of the occupied West Bank, such as demilitarizing a future Palestinian state and democratic reforms, including a general election next year in which Hamas can have no role.
I'm not in any way, shape, minimizing the scale of that task.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I don't even care if they set up a two-state solution. I actually think that's fine. If you want to set that up, you want to recognize them, whatever. I don't care that this is being done. It doesn't affect me. However, I do care that this was going to be a controversial announcement. I do care that he should have known that this would obviously be a point of conflict with Trump and something he would use, because I don't even actually think Trump cares about this that much. I just think Trump right now has so much leverage in the trade negotiations. He's able to use anything, and we will get into Trump's statements about this in a second.
Carney also delivered pointed criticism at Israel, stating thousands are on the brink of starvation in Gaza.
The level of human suffering in Gaza is intolerable.
That point echoed by aid groups and the UN, who warn mass starvation in Gaza is on the rise. Palestinian officials also point to widespread hunger.
Yeah, and I mean, look, there's obviously a ton of humanitarian issues going on there, and I do think that this needs to be addressed. It's just like right now, when we are within hours of a trade deal being done, is this the time that you need to make the announcement? Is this the time that you're expending diplomatic energy on something when we have to get something done? Like, as soon as that deal's done, we can just move forward with all of the other problems. But Canada, classic, doesn't focus on Canadians. So we did get this statement from Trump after, which is, wow, Canada just announced that it's backing statehood for Palestine. This will make it very hard for us to make a trade deal with them. Oh, Canada. Here's the thing. Again, I don't care if Palestine becomes a state. They have the right to fight for whatever they want to do. However, I also don't think Trump cares about them becoming a state, because if he did, this would have affected his deals with the UK. He would have spoke out about France, because both of them, regardless of deals, regardless of situations, have said they are going to recognize the two-state solution there. He has not said anything about the UK that I've seen. He's not said anything about France. This is exclusively being used against Canada. And people keep saying, oh, this is an attack on Canadian sovereignty because Trump won't even let us with the geopolitical issues. Okay, we're going to get into the Canadian sovereignty issues, but how have the Canadian politicians been actually representing Canada? How have they actually been caring about the taxpayer when it comes to dealing with the U.S.? Well, Ontario confirms Starlink deal canceled, keeps cost secret. Oh, that sounds like you respect your taxpayers a lot. The Ontario government said it has agreed with satellite internet provider Starlink, owned by billionaire Elon Musk, on the terms to end a $92 million contract with the company that Premier Doug Ford had vowed to rip up during his winter re-election campaign in retaliation for U.S. tariffs. But the province would not reveal how much taxpayers would have to pay to get out of the deal. The premier said he did not want to do business with Mr. Musk, who was then a prominent ally of U.S. president, of whom Mr. Ford accused of being hell-bent on destroying our economy. At the expense of taxpayer results, at the expense of making life better for Canadians, at the expense of actual dollars, Doug, the liberal slug who stinks like a pug, let his personal politics cost us tens of millions of dollars. And also, there's no Canadian supplier who's able to replace and do at scale, as efficient, what Starlink was able to do. So every time these politicians talk about the interests of Canadians and we need the best deal, we're not going to take a bad deal just because we need a deal. We need the best deal for Canadians. Well, the best deal for Canadians would not have been attacking a U.S. company, even though Elon Musk says he's Canadian half the time anyways. Did you like the video yet? We're trying to get these videos out in front of more people. We're trying to grow the channel. If you like what we talked about here, feel free to subscribe. Love to have you on board. Let's get back to it. Speaking of taxpayer, there are real world impacts on the Canadian taxpayer, on local towns, local communities, from these trade negotiations falling apart. And here's how bad it could get in some areas.
And back into productive action.
Now, we've heard the Prime Minister say he's looking for the best deal for Canada. What would that look like to you?
Well, no tariffs. I mean, the USMCA is a tariff-free environment. Certainly anything that adds more cost to the automotive industry is bad for consumers. And we've said this from the very beginning, that a tariff is really a tax on consumers. And so you see the OEMs biting and eating part of that tariff today, and you see it playing out on their bottom line. I think our largest employer, Stellantis, we make the Windsor Assembly Plant makes the Chrysler Pacifica. Here in our city, they're our largest employer, but they just reported a multi-billion-dollar quarterly loss.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say this. The tariffs were not a huge impact on that because they were already reporting losses happening before these tariffs were happening. So there's going to be some impact for the tariff. I'm not going to take that away. I will say we do know their sales were already falling.
They can't continue operating like that. And so there has to be a pathway to either pass those costs on or cut back expenses. And the expenses that are being added directly relate to tariffs at this point.
Is Windsor prepared for possible 35% tariffs?
I don't know how you'd prepare for that. And you know, that 35%, again, is in the realm of just being catastrophic. We would have to find a lot of other trading partners to sell our goods to. We're a trading nation. The United States is our largest trading partner.
So he just said it there. The 35% tariffs from the U.S. would be catastrophic. And, you know, good thing is he's got the samurai swords in the background to take on Trump, mount up patriots. But no, the big thing is, so yes, we can recognize Canada is an exporting nation. And this is why every single time people talk about diversifying trade, I agree. Diversifying trade, Canada doing better would be a good thing. I'm not arguing against finding other deals and other opportunities. But like anything else, you can't jump to the next opportunities until you have your good one that pays the bills now. It's like when you're applying for a job. They say don't quit your job until you already have the new one lined up. You don't quit your job and then start applying. This is basically what all of these people are, well, we'll just go to Europe, we'll do this, we'll need markets to absorb the demand. And at the end of the day, the U.S. has the highest demand. Not that they should just be walking all over us, but you can just clearly see that our government does not care about Canada. They don't care about Canadian sovereignty. Every single pundit on every video that I watched today mentioned Canadian sovereignty. Well, maybe if we're going to talk about Canadian sovereignty, we can bring up some stories like this. Canadian diplomats fired for fraud, theft, and kickbacks in global misconduct sweep. That sounds like it might have an impact to Canada's sovereignty. 22 diplomats from the Department of Foreign Affairs were fired for various violations. Here are just some of them. For 7 years, an employee submitted falsified receipts to fraudulently claimed allowances, falsifying travel expenses. A diplomat overpaid local staff so he can get access to money back for 4 years. Colluded with gas station attendants to misuse government misused fuel cards. I guarantee you we can put a certain country to that one if it's working with gas stations. Negligently processed erroneous invoices. Mass corruption and fraud was going on for years at a department that should have tight operations to begin with, protecting Canada from foreign spying, influence, and they didn't even catch the most basic of things. No charges, no investigation. That's more corruption in itself. So yeah, if our Canadian diplomats can't even be trusted and they're taking advantage of Canadians there and then they get away with it scot-free, I would say that's a bit more of an attack on Canadian sovereignty. I would say when we have Canada's net international migration from 1952 to 2025 charts, that's what this chart is here, yeah, I would say this is an attack on Canadian sovereignty because, look, here is the historic immigration levels. You go all the way back from 1950. Oh, that looks normal. Some slight increases over time. Population gets bigger. This number's going to get a little bit bigger, sure. Oh, so we're just going to pump that to the absolute ceiling? so that in a few short years, it's millions? I would say this is an attack to Canadian sovereignty a little bit more than the Americans getting mad that we're recognizing a Palestinian state. I would say this has an actual impact on Canada's sovereignty, especially when we have employment issues domestically, especially when we have youth who can't get into the labor market. People forget youth is not just 16-year-olds, it goes all the way up to 24.
The youth are looking for their next 9 to 5. Take a look inside here, this Intercare Center. Both sides completely packed with teenagers trying to find a job. It's a sheer glimpse of what's happening in the labor market and how it's impacting.
Jeepers, get that girl on the court. Look at the size of her. Holy smokes. She must be like 7 feet.
Teenagers of today. But these kids here are looking for their next job at the CNE, trying to make some cash for the last few weeks of summer.
I was looking for a job for almost 2 years now. That is something that a lot of young people are saying these days. So when an opportunity comes up, as the teens say, you gotta shoot your shot.
I'm just gonna try to show that I'm different from all of them and I'm special, I can do it.
A big opportunity for thousands of youth at the Intercare Center today.
So as social cohesion's falling and you continue to bring in more bodies, which is going to keep wages low, these people are begging, borrowing, and stealing to just try and get a minimum wage job at the CNE. That's basically like working at a state fair. They're like, I really hope I'm going to be so excited if I could just get a minimum wage job at the state fair. That's how bad the economy and employment's gotten, but we continue to grow the population through mass immigration. Here we have another example of Canada's sovereignty being under attack. An Ontario resident, aka a foreign man who's living in Ontario, tried to buy intercourse from what he thought was a 15-year-old. He was given a conditional discharge to help him stay in Canada. Yes, we talked about this story last week on the channel. This is how insane it's getting with Canada and immigration. This is an attack on Canada's sovereignty. Donald Trump trying to get a deal for the U.S., trying to get more businesses to move to the U.S., trying to protect Americans is not an attack on Canada's sovereignty. This is an attack on Canada's sovereignty. Akash Kumar Kant made the mistake arranging to have intercourse with a 15-year-old at a Mississauga Holiday Inn for $140. Only when he got there, that 15-year-old turned out to be a cop. I did not know we had 15-year-old cops in Canada. Surprise to me. He was arrested at the hotel with $140 cash on hand. No tip, what a cheap guy. And subsequently ended up in court. But he won't receive a criminal record for his actions, in part because of his immigration status. So maybe if we have foreign offenders trying to have intercourse with, I don't know, underage people, maybe that's people we should get out of Canada to protect our sovereignty, because as he stays, he's a danger. He is an absolute liability. And that's something that needs to go if we want to protect Canadian sovereignty. But don't worry, the Finance Department rushed plan for Sharia mortgages despite warnings. Once again, I do think that's going to be showing us that we are losing out on Canadian sovereignty when this, keep in mind, this is to have government-backed Sharia mortgages. So there would be public money going towards Sharia mortgages in Canada. Yeah, once again, might be an issue for the sovereignty. So we do have this video here, and I wanted to show this for Canadians. I think we need a reminder on what a Canadian is, and for all the Americans who are watching right now, after you've watched this video, tell me, does this video remind you of what a Canadian is, or do all the stories I just showed you remind you of what a Canadian is?
What is it?
And before we get into it, this is from the Dominion Society of Canada. It's a new account that I just saw, and they seem to be pushing a lot of pro-Canada content.
Canadian.
A Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. Anyone from anywhere can do anything.
We are not American. This is the question no one seems to be able to answer. Our politicians, our people.
There it is right there from Maxime Bernier. So that French guy who said that we are not American is supposed to be one of the most pro-Canada nationalist political candidates we have in Canada. And the best way he can identify a Canadian is by saying, we are not American. Okay? Come on.
So here's my answer to this increasingly infamous question. Canadians are the descendants of the brave pioneers that settled this country. English, French, Scottish, and Irish. Our ancestors braved open oceans and conquered hostile lands to build a country from nothing. We are defined by our roots as settlers, fur traders, and explorers.
Side note about the building the country from nothing. Think about this. imagine you go to another country, there's nothing there. Like, I'm talking about the settlers. You go there, there's nothing there. There's just forests. There's just rocks. There's just dirt. There's just nothing. And so when it's dark, it's pitch black. All you hear is silence. You don't know what's happening. And if you do see other people, they're probably going to try and kill you. Like, how impressive did these people have to be to come to the vastness that is Canada and build the nation that is today? So impressive when you think about just like the pure, indomitable human spirit.
Over hundreds of years, these groups underwent an ethnogenesis to create two new and unique ethnicities, Anglo-Canadians and French-Canadians. Brave explorers molded by a harsh climate and rugged landscape to create some of the most courageous, powerful, and creative people this world has ever seen. Yes, there is a certain diversity to Canada, but it's not the modern, globalist multiculturalism that we see today. Alberta, Quebec, the Maritimes, just to name a few, each have their own regional flavors. Canada is a massive country with a varied landscape.
Yeah, and even just from Canadian accents, like people have different accents all across Canada. And that's why I wanted to reference this graph again. We're going to go back to the video, but like right here, this graph is Canada. This is the diversity that Canada had. This is the powerful, strong, good diversity that Canada used to thrive off of by bringing in strong people who wanted to immigrate to Canada. They wanted to build here. They wanted to help make Canada a stronger nation. This giant line, yeah, that's a little different.
These different geographies manifested in a variety of regional microcultures. But ultimately, we are the same people, brothers and sisters that took different paths. There's more that unites us than separates us. Canada is not a nation of immigrants. This duplicitous phrase aims to conflate modern economic immigrants with the settlers who built this country. Immigrants come here to take advantage of our wealth and opportunity. They come to a country that is already built, our infrastructure and institutions, our laws and culture. They come here and enjoy the fruits of the sacrifices of our forefathers. And nowadays, most make little effort to...
Just what I wanted. Sikh police officers having a sword fight in public. That's exactly a representation of good old strong Canadians.
...integrate into our society. It is a great disrespect to our ancestors to describe them as nothing more than immigrants. Some people say that the Canada that I believe in does not exist anymore, that it's gone and it's never coming back. But they're wrong. Our people are still the majority in this country. Although we have been taken advantage of and demoralized, the spirit of our forefathers lives on within us. Our generation is waking up to the reality of what our country has become and what is necessary to make sure our people and our great country persist into the future. Our generation will take this country back for our ancestors and for our descendants.
Canada! 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 I wanted to play that video as a reminder for Canadians that Canada does have a national identity, that Canada has a rich, impressive, awesome history. The settlers who came here built one of the best countries in the world, and they did it through one of the most difficult ways ever. Like, everything that happened to make Canada the country that it is so impressive. And I also, if you're American watching this, I want you to comment down below, is that what you think a traditional Canadian looks like? Just as a reminder, when everybody's talking about sovereignty and all of these things, we can clearly see the globalist banker who came in as our prime minister doesn't care about Canada and the history of it. We can stop pretending that he's a Canadian who's here to help. So if you made it this far in the video, you absolutely rock. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to get these videos out in front of more people, trying to grow the channel. If you do want to support, you can do that through the link down below. You can do it through YouTube, or if you sign up through the Wealthsimple link, you get paid $25. I get paid $25. We can continue to take on the big banks, help diversify that industry, because we know the big banks aren't here to help either. So thank you, and have a great rest of your day.
Time's up. returning with Ivy soon. sponsors. Choice Chops wants you to know we have meat. Just meat. Stop asking if we have anything else. I kind of feel like the last thing I want to do is, go looking for radioactive material. But not Warren Smith. Here's uranium rock.
So apparently Americans are fleeing the United States to come to London. Now, it's not going to surprise you that these are left-wing anti-Trump Americans, and they have what I'm going to say are misconceptions about London. As someone who has to travel to London fairly regularly, much to my chagrin, I don't think they're right about London. But anyway, let's have a look at this article. This is fascinating. It's been dubbed by one Republican with a Yankish disregard for proper English as the MAGA British Summer. It began last Friday on the west coast of Scotland with Donald Trump flying in for a round or two of golf and a summit with Keir Starmer. His vice president holidays here next month. He's going to the Cotswolds, where Ellen DeGeneres is also, and she apparently was just going to I'm just going to run away while he's here. It's like he's not going to come to your house anyway. In September, Trump is going to return for an unprecedented second state visit. Neither the president nor a second-in-command could be expecting the warmest welcome from their fellow countrymen who are here in record numbers. Right, so a bunch of left-wingers have come here and they're like, oh no, Trump is here as well. What's happening with the administration at the moment is absolutely terrifying, and the consequences are immediate, says business strategist Farin Mann, 38, who moved to London from Dallas late last year. But everything seems to be going great in America. I'm sorry, as someone who watches American politics very closely, I'm quite jealous of how well the Americans are turning it around. But he didn't even move to Britain to get away from Trump. For him, divorce and the chance to start over, not Trump, were his primary reasons for coming over. But with things as they are, I really don't want to go back. And with things as they are, things seem good in America, or at least better than they were under Biden. Amazon program manager Cassandra Ganzak, 35, I'm glad these people are here, who moved from Seattle, echoes those sentiments. I remember going in feeling really upset, and it hit me in another way that people's lives are going to be brutally affected by the decisions and policies that the administration is going to enact. Have you met Keir Starmer? Are you aware of what they're doing to this country? Do you understand just how profoundly fucked we are with this Labour government? Prior to the election, there was an assumption that our progressive leaders, our democratic leaders, would help us navigate the political field after the election. And by the time I left, it was extremely clear to everyone that was not happening. It's like, listen, man, just pay attention to British politics for 5 minutes, and you'll realise how poorly we are governed. It's just remarkable. I'd like to be here as long as possible. Oh, yeah. An increased interest in Britain happened during Trump's first presidency, says the senior partner of a UK practice for Laura Devine Solicitors, one of the country's top immigration specialists. But this time it's more pronounced. We've definitely noticed an increase, a building trend over the past 6 months or so. There's a significant rise. The data released by the Home Office reveals more than 6,600 Americans applied for British citizenship in the last 12 months. Right? That's not many. We learned the other day that net migration for 2024 was 700,000. So the gross migration would have been somewhere between 1.2 to 1.5 million, and out of that, 6,600. It's a really small number, actually. And probably not the people who themselves are a problem. But this is a 26% increase on the year before, and second highest since records began. So not exactly flooding us, though. But anyway, they point out that the shared language makes it easier, and notes for most Americans the cost of living is generally cheaper, especially given the exchange rate. Yeah, but the cost of buying a house is way more expensive here than it is in the United States. Like, people can't believe the price of houses here. It's like, well, yes, because we're one of the most overpopulated countries literally like the 7th most densely populated country in the world, and that's behind like Monaco and like, you know, tiny island states in, you know, in exotic areas. But yeah, so it's so much more simple. I don't have to navigate insurance premiums and all those things I had to pay for up front. Yeah, you just get brutally taxed. Brutally taxed by the government. And on everything. On literally everything. But more striking than the numbers are how people are framing their decisions. Just days ago, a client contacted us indicating that they were looking to move because of a change in the US's societal values. It was really interesting to hear it framed that way, rather than just, it's Trump. Sometimes the way clients speak, it's odd they need to articulate it. Her observation rings true. The president's name seems to some Americans not the word best not said. There's a lot of things happening politically these days, right? They're saying, I've had enough, it's fragile, I want to time out, let's go to a lovely country like England. Now, England is a lovely country, in the bits that are still English. However, we have some serious problems here. And I don't think you understand that the change in societal values that has driven you out of the United States is also underway here. In fact, our moment is becoming ever more pregnant than your moment, because your moment at least has the release of catharsis. Your election happened, Trump won, your country is going right wing. Ours is still waiting for that. And so at the moment, the left is piling on problem after problem after problem, stacking the heat up. And when we finally get our election, and Nigel Farage will win, and he will be considered the far right, Like, you guys will look at Nigel Farage in the same way you're looking at Donald Trump, and God willing, he does something useful. Like, I mean, surely he can't make it worse. I don't think he's going to fix the problems, but at least he might fix some of the problems, might tinker around the edges and make something slightly better. But the best thing that Nigel Farage could do is actually cause the kind of change in societal values like Trump has in the United States. And if Nigel Farage just happens to herald the opening of the floodgates and the right-wingification of Britain, politically, socially, we're already a right-wing country, then you're going to be like, well, actually, maybe this place wasn't as progressive as I thought. And it's like, yeah, well, why did you think it was progressive? Like, England, of all the countries in the world, has been the least progressive country of all the countries in Europe, compared to the standards of its neighbours. Like, every European country is way more left-wing than the English people, and votes and enacts left-wing laws through left-wing lenses. The English have been intransigent in the traditions, and we have been dragged along anyway. Like, since the end of World War II, everything progressive that has happened in this country has happened without the consent of the English people, who personally think that we had everything completely correct and have done for centuries until the 20th century. And I really mean this. Like, literally every major social change and legislative change that has happened in Britain has basically happened against the will of the people. And the only exception to that is Brexit, which is what we actually voted for. So I don't know why you think that we're not a far-right country, because we definitely are. Anyway, we have a lot of same-gender couples, for example, who feel the US is a lot less tolerant and less welcoming. Oh yeah, well, you know, maybe you should move to Bradford or Birmingham and see how much more welcoming they are there. I think the UK is perceived, rightly or wrongly, as a rather liberal, tolerant society. Now, we are tolerant, we're not a cruel people or anything like that. But we're not really a very liberal society in the way you guys are thinking. Right? People don't agree with a lot of the... I mean, there's a reason we're called Turf Island. Because you're like, oh yeah, well, everyone can just change their gender. We're like, the British people, it's like, you can't. You fruitcake. Anyway, there really is a sense that the democratic ideal of America is on the verge of a cliff. We are talking about civil war in Britain. Everyone in Britain, everyone, and I don't mean in the political commentariat. I mean normal people. Is that the guy who cuts my hair is talking about the tension in the air. Everyone can feel that the government does not represent them and they hate it. That the immigration has gone way too far. And the guy who cuts my hair is an immigrant, right? Like, everyone can feel that there is too much that has happened to this country and that nobody is happy with. And people are openly talking about civil war, like the More in Common surveys, where, like, you know, Brad from accounting was just like, yeah, well, we needed Cromwell or something, don't we? Like, sorry, you don't understand our country at all. So being like, oh yeah, everything's fine in England, isn't it? No, and I mean, I can't even imagine how much worse it's going to be in 5 years' time. Honestly, you've no idea. But anyway, you know, Americans want to escape from Trump's America. And this is the thing. They think that Britain is California, which it is not. They're convinced that London is the London of Friends. When was this, like 2000? Like, when was this filmed? Like, it's such a different place. I love London so much. To me, it feels safer than the US, says a brand consultant from New York called Rachel, who now lives in North London. Well, the thing is, Rachel, right? It's not. Like, this is just the knife crime for 2015 to 2024, and as you can see, it's pretty bloody high. It's still 10,000 a year during the COVID lockdowns. Like, that's dedication to knife crime. But you say, well, I mean, London feels safer than New York. Well, it did briefly overtake New York's murder rate, so be careful out there, is all I'm saying. A guy was stabbed to death the other day because he was wearing a Rolex. And now in Heathrow, on the tannoy, they're like, if you've arrived and you've got lovely jewellery or something, make sure that people don't see it. So yeah, because the urban youth are running rampant on London streets. Anyway, then you get like Ellen, who's like, yeah, I've moved to Britain because of Trump. Oh, it's terrible in America. And this is amazing, right? She says her new life in the Cotswolds is just better than what she left behind in the United States. It's just better to be in England than it is in the United States. And we got there the day before the election and woke up with lots of texts from our friends. He got in and look, we're staying here because they own a house in the Cotswolds. The Cotswolds, if anyone doesn't know, is this here. This area is quite a reasonably moderate-sized area in the west of England. As you can see, it's not in London where you've got very, very diverse areas. It's 92% English. 92%. So more than 9 out of 10 people who live there are English. And so she said, yeah, it's just better than America. Yeah, I bet it's bloody better than America. The Cotswolds is it's famous for being one of the nicest places in England. And it's very picturesque, very expensive place to live. And so I'm not surprised. She's like, yeah, it's just an absolutely lovely, lovely place. But remember, people are fleeing the UK. Millionaires are fleeing the UK. Like something like 10,000 left last year. And so it's like, there's a reason for this. The rich Americans are going to come over and then be like, well, I have to pay how much in tax? I'm getting screwed over just how badly? There is how much crime in London? Things are not as rosy as I was led to believe initially. It's like, no, they're not. And I don't know why you thought. And it's literally, I mean, in this as well, they bring up Bridget Jones's diary. It's like, what? When was that filmed? Like 25 years ago, something like that. When was Friends filmed? In the late 90s. Like, sorry, it is not the London that you remember. It has been heavily diversified. I mean, just look at the map. Like, sorry, most places, I mean, London is 1/3 English, right? Ellen's living in the Cotswolds, 92% English. Like, this is beautiful, this is a slice of heaven, which it is. London is not a slice of heaven, but it used to be great. It's not now, it's decaying, it's crime-ridden, it's unbelievably expensive because of the just rampant immigration into this country. And you're going to get taxed to hell, and so you're going to be like, well, why am I paying so much money to live in this shithole where there's all this bloody crime and all of these foreigners? And that is a great question. I don't know why you are. I mean, like I said, Ellen made the right choice and went to the Cotswolds. But a lot of them, they're going to London. I don't know what the big smoke is. But anyway, the point being is the Americans are coming in. Are they in for a surprise?
Hi everybody, it's David Lees here, your proud host of Leaders on the Frontier. It's July 31st, 2025, the year of our Lord, so a warm welcome to everybody. We're delighted that you could join us. Robert, good afternoon from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. And so many others, we're glad that you could join us. Sheridan Forbes says a great remark here. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time and service. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for keeping Canadians informed and engaged. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. And the response has been, frankly, overwhelming. We appreciate so many of your comments. We get thousands of comments every month. And to me, it says that there's a lot of Canadians who care about our country and our future. And therein lies hope, surely. And good afternoon, Prairie. Wow, back again. So thank you so much for so many of you for joining us and for your thoughtful comments. We've got an incredible program today as we talk about the complexity of trade. Trade matters for our country, Canada. If we're to not only move forward our economy, move forward our quality of life, but also have a future for our next generation, it really does matter. There's a comment here, it's interesting, and I can't quite pronounce it here. It says something furball. Fix the border and the trade tariffs stop. Right from the beginning, it's been like this. Fix the ports. Stop bad from coming in. Yes, security matters. So I think that's true. And thank you, Prairie. We missed you last week. And I should tell you that I was on assignment traveling the nation. And next week, we will not have a program. Please keep it in your calendars, though, going forward. I'm actually going to be celebrating my mom's birthday, who's turning 94 of all things. So family matters, and I hope everyone is having a great summer. And there's a lot going on that we want to reflect on. I'm going to, before we dive into the topic of trade with an extraordinary panel, including Catherine Swift and the Honorable Grant Devine, I do want to highlight some interesting headlines, and I'm sure you've been noticing it. One of which was yesterday was interesting. The Governor of the Bank of Canada, Tiff Macklem, yesterday repeated assurances that there will be no recession, that even though the economy shrank in June, and there's certainly uncertainty on the horizon here, we're not going to have a recession. So we'll see whether that is in fact going to be the case. It's also interesting. I see a lot of reports about things that are going on in terms of Canada. We saw a lot of efforts to do trade boycotts. You may have noticed a report that Canada's boycott of American spirits isn't just dragging down sales of U.S. brands in the country, it's squeezing all alcohol spending, including for domestic products, according to the latest analysis from the trade group Spirits Canada. So that's interesting that not only U.S. liquor sales are declining, maybe even Canadian ones are too. So sometimes not as all black and white. And happy birthday to your mom. Thank you very much, Prairie. So it's also interesting, there's been a lot of further debates and discussions regarding the sovereignty movement in Alberta. You notice that Premier Daniel Smith wants the referendum question approved, as there was some criticism and reaction to, I believe, the province's electoral office referring the proposed question regarding sovereignty to a court. And now the public officials are weighing in saying, no, we need to get on with that possible question. The other thing I wanted to highlight was a very interesting story from the BC Miners Association saying that there are some potential $90 billion worth of projects that are opportunities. It was in the report. I recommend you have an opportunity to at least read the executive summary. But it says this is a generational opportunity at hand, the Industry Association told a recent conference. And I think that goes to the heart of opportunity. We all have the vision that this country surely should be the freest and most prosperous nation in the world. And so, case in point, that's just simply one province. We know there's a lot of mining opportunity among many other things across this province. In other news, I'm sure you've noticed the challenging court case regarding the hockey players, the junior hockey players, and the allegations of abuse there with an alleged victim. It's a fascinating case. I'm not sure if that's quite the right word, but it's it just seems like it's a lose-lose for everybody, regardless of what you think about the judge's decision to acquit the players or to dismiss them. But it's interesting, there was also a story that the union involved slammed the NHL refusal to let the acquitted players return to the ice. So what do you think about that? That's quite an issue, but to me it seems to underline that behavior both on the ice matters and off the ice as well. And I just don't understand how people get into those situations, but that's just my personal opinion. It's also interesting, you may have heard that from a previous program, I highlighted the defacing of the Holocaust Museum in Ottawa. And it's fascinating that a former lawyer for the city of Ottawa admitted to defacing the monument. So go figure. You've got a lawyer. Usually we look up to that profession, and it's so unfortunate that that happened. In other news, I wanted to highlight another story. The Department of Immigration, in a briefing note, and this is reported in Blacklock's Reporter, confirmed that they never sought a comprehensive security screening of suspected terrorists and in city museum. People get in those situations, but that's just and I just don't understand how people get in those situations. Refusal to let the acquitted players return to the ice. So what do you think about that? That's quite an issue, but to me it seems to underline that behavior both on the ice matters and off the ice as well. And I just don't understand how people get in those situations, but that's just my personal opinion. It's also interesting, you may have heard that from a previous program, I highlighted the defacing of the Holocaust Museum in Ottawa, and it's fascinating that a former lawyer for the city of Ottawa admitted to defacing the monument. So go figure. You've got a lawyer. Usually we look up to that profession, and it's so unfortunate that that happened. In other news, I wanted to
down, we did down.
another good one. Another good one. The great green jewel of the Commonwealth. It's Diamond City Radio. Now, well, I guess I'll say something.